This is Marcy and Connie here at 1033 Main Salon and Spa in beautiful Mumford, New York. And today we're going to show you some different ways that you can wear a mohawk. That's right, a mohawk. Better we should say a faux hawk because it's actually not cut in a mohawk. As you can see, Connie has very long hair. But the mohawk from the 80s with the spikes and all of that has grown up into a hairdo that we actually can use for formal occasions. And some of the variations are very beautiful. And this one we actually noticed while I was prepping Connie for something else. So I want to show you what we did. I put 3 ponytails on Connie, one here, and one here. And these two, you want it nice and tight and sleek. But unless you want it all pulled sleekly back from the face, you kind of want to leave a little volume on that front ponytail. And all I was doing was curling Connie's hair with the curling iron and pinning the curls down so they would cool off in the curl position rather than let them droop and stretch out while they were hot. And that's a little trick if you have trouble getting your hair to hold a curl. Do that while it's still warm, pin it and let it cool off curled. But as I was working, I noticed we were already getting a cute mohawk design, even though it's not the mohawk I originally started out with. Now I do want to talk to you a little bit about the front. On the front, I kept the ponytail holder pulled back a little bit. And now all you need to do to get some volume there is hold a piece from the middle, put your fingers on the ponytail holder and push. And that gives you a little bump there. And you can just pin that right in place. And that keeps it from being too harsh right there at the hairline. There. And now all I'm going to do, we're kind of tightening up the instructional part because I do want to be able to show you a few different ideas that you can do to freshen it up. If you like this proportion but you don't want to wear the same hairdo all the time, there's actually a lot of potential variation. So I'm just running the curling iron through. You don't necessarily need small pieces. I would say 4 to 6 per ponytail. We're just going ahead and curling all of that. These ends, come on. Roll it down. I'm going to let it stay there till I feel that it's nice and warm. And then slide it off the wand. And let it stay in a curled position. I don't want it to stretch. And all I'm doing is grabbing a pin and pinning that down. You're going to want to save some to curl forward, and then it'll cover that rubber band. But I also want to kind of work side to side because I want balance. I don't want to have a tendency for it all to go in one direction. That's all I'm doing. That's all I did back here too. Just curl everything, pin it down. Now if you can curl it so the open end of your curling iron is down, very simple to just unwind it a tiny bit and open that and drop it into your hand. And you catch it in a nice curl and pin it. Okay, I'm going to finish up the rest of this and we'll come back and show the front of this. And we just pinned them down. She's got a little bump at the front. I want to show you something that can happen when you're working with a style where you're sectioning things such as we did in the ponytails, and how to deal with it. So we've got the ponytails, but there's a little part line here, and that's not necessarily what I want. So I'm going to take a bobby pin, and I'm going to catch a piece from that side and a piece from the other side and slide it in, and it just pulls all of that together. You can kind of give it a little quick bit with the comb. And that pulls your section together so you don't have such a big part line there. But here is the finished look of our accidental Fauxhawk Updo. It's got a little edge to it, but it's also very elegant at the same time. You definitely could wear this to a more formal or fancy occasion and not necessarily just, okay, some curls on top of your head, or okay, a French twist. It has a little personality to it. Absolutely, you could stick some decorations in it too if you wanted to have a little fun. I'm going to take this down now, and I'm going to show you another variation that we were actually starting to do. Taking out Connie's curls, and I've already done the back ponytail, so sorry. Let me show you what's going on, and I'll show you how we do one up here. I've taken the curls out. I've put in some teasing to make it nice and big and blousy, and give it a more undone finish. You can definitely, at this point, just hit it with a little bit of spray, and not necessarily going for polished and smooth. And then what I've done is pin the curls at the very end, pin that down, and then grab it somewhere in the middle and pin that a little bit. But I want a very undone big look here. Texture right now is a big thing in hairdos. Not necessarily going to look messy. You still want to look like you made some effort, but a very undone, broken texture. And so I'm going to take a curl from this, the second ponytail, and put a little teasing in it, or maybe a lot. And how much teasing you put in is what will determine how broken your texture is. You can see that's very broken. If I wanted to keep more form, I would put less in, just a few strokes to kind of blouse it out. And then what I'm doing is grabbing the end of this, slipping it in my pin, give it a little twirl and tuck it in. But I don't want it flopping around. I'm not necessarily looking to do that. So I grab it in the middle, and that gives me a little more control over that. And I'm going to go around that whole ponytail and do the same thing with each of the curls we put in there. I'm going to bring the first couple of them back because we want to marry these into one form. So we're going to bring a couple back just like we brought a couple forward. And there, that's using the wide teeth of the comb and a little bit less teasing. I'm going to slip a pin on the ends. And again, just kind of roll it down, slip the pin into the hair, and then another one into the middle to give it a little more security. And you can see now we're starting to get a mohawk, but it's not quite as compact as what we had before, and it's got more textural interest. I'm just going to give that a little spray and kind of pat it a little bit, and that brings in a little bit more form too. You doing okay, Connie? Yep. And I'm going to grab another curl. Oh, that one I can just tuck in and pin actually. I grabbed a couple pieces when I was doing the teasing. That's alright, because it's very sort of freeform here. Now, I want to start working forward. So I'm going to turn her. And again, I'm going to use the wide teeth, so we'll keep some form on this one. And just kind of go through a little bit. And you can see the volume I get, but you can still see the curl pattern and the shape that that piece has. And again, grab those ends, tuck them in, and I can pull this into any position I want and give it a little pin. We're back, and I want to show you the finished look, and this is definitely a more big version, and we got it all up. There it is on the side. I'm going to give you the full 360. Now, say you've done this and you notice that it's a little lopsided, more to the left or right. That's easy. Take your hairspray, and I'm using the White Teeth Embrace Luxury Hairspray. Give it a spray. Set that down. And get and squeeze it into position. It's very flexible. If you want it taller, you can really kind of narrow it down and push it up. We did build this for a fair bit of volume because I want to definitely have that look of a mohawk. So again, there she is. And from the side. Now you could do a look like this, and then instead of pinning this all up back here, leave it down but still in that narrow mohawk, and put some texture in with some teasing, and that would give you a nice kind of up and down effect that is very popular. The half up styles are very popular again right now. So we're going to take this down and we're going to show you another variation that kind of changes the mood on this. Taking out Connie's Fauxhawk here, and I noticed that I had actually created what I just told you about, which is the half up, half down version, maybe undone. So I want you to have a chance to see the silhouette of that, although it's a little messed up from being taken down. But there it is. You can actually wear your Fauxhawk as a half up, half down. I'll give you a full turn on that. And it's very fun. It's got a lot of texture to it, but you still could wear that to something more formal and not. The next variation, I do want to talk about what I did on the front because I wanted to do something a little different. And I have put in extra ponytails, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a little piece at the front that I did not ponytail. So we've got 5 ponytails up the center of the head. On the front, because her hair has still got curl in it from the work we've done already, and it's got a little extra volume, and that's nice because of the teasing we put in. So on the front, all I did was take that piece and let the curl kind of dictate where it bent, and just put it in a little swirl and pinned it down. And I've done the first piece of our mohawk here, which what we're doing now is just taking these sections and tying them in a knot, kind of a loose knot. You don't want it to be too compact. It's going to be much more compact than what we've done. And then just swirling the ends around and tucking them under and pinning. And it is that simple. And we're going to do that with each of the ponytails. Although, when we have the little ponytails down and just the one up here and this one down, that was kind of a nice look too if you're looking for something not quite a full mohawk, but again, a half up, half down. That's kind of a nice look to go with as well. So I'm going to finish this. We'll come back and show you the finished Fauxhawk, and if you bear with me, one more variation. Finished look. This is, again, 5 ponytails. All we did was tie a knot and pin it down and wrap the ends around. It's still very elegant, but it's much more compact than the other looks. And on the front, we just did that little swirl with the curly piece we had there, just to give it a little volume and a little interest. And now, I have one last variation I want to run through with you. I'm going to take this out, and we'll do that next one, and that does give it a little bit more variation on the Fauxhawk. I've already started up here. I just took that piece that we had swirled around before, I undid it and did the twisting on it that I'm doing on the rest, and then just tucked it in and pinned it, but left a little bit of volume there. And I've done one ponytail here. So here we are taking the next one, and all we're doing is twisting it back on itself. So we're going to give it some twist and some tension. And you can see how that collapses some of the volume. And as you twist it out, work out all the way to the ends, it's going to find the point where there's so much tension in it that it turns back on itself with very little encouragement. And all you need to do then is take this and tuck it around and pin it under. I'm going to slip a pin in up here at the top. Let me grab a full-size pin. And the way I'm going to do it is tuck it in, push it through until I feel it touch her scalp, and then jackknife it back. And that gives you a nice secure pin there. And then I also want to pin these little end pieces underneath, because I don't want them to be sticking out. You could do it with those sticking out, and that could be just the look you want, but it's not the look I'm going for right now. again, and then just come in, run it through, touch the scalp, and push that in. And you can pin whatever you need to do to make it secure. 2 or 3 is usually enough. And there we go. And that's going to give us a nice, very textured, but also neat, compact look. And I'm going to finish these last 2, and we'll come back and show you a full 360 on our last variation of the Fauxhawk. And this is the twisted knots. I do want to say this about this way of doing it. I have tried to do this just taking sections and twisting them back. I find it difficult to maintain the tension that you need, because you do want to keep the sides sleek to make that mohawk stand out. So having it in the ponytails first and then do the twists and pin those down actually helps you maintain that tension much more easily at the base and gives you a little bit more control. So now you have several new ways to look great, feel great, have a great day, and thanks for watching.